Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 45, 45, almost to 50 episode of the Locker Room Live podcast. I'm here. It's me, Frank, with my brothers, my compadres, Owen Baker, Logan Kuvo. Full transparency, second time doing this. I was a complete plug. My sound was horrible. I let the boys down, but we're here. We're doing it again. I'm like a comedian. I'm going to tell the same jokes. You guys didn't hear them, so they're going to be 10 times funnier. I had it rehearsed. I'm ready. Boys, playoff hockey's amongst us. So much going on. The summer, the sun. Who's ripping?
Or Bake, before you give your update, I just want to say, Locker Room Life family, you've seen how bad some of my episodes have been throughout my time. Full transparency. It's my Wi-Fi. Can't do anything about it. I'm traveling. I'm like a nomad. But just shows you we had to redo this one. Oh boy. Bake, take it away.
Yeah, LRL family, we want to give you guys the best quality, so we're redoing this one. But yeah, summertime, it's just awesome being home. One thing that I'll never take for granted, shout out my mom. The home cooked meals have been off the charts. It's something that, you look forward to even when you get older. And yeah, just spending some time with the family has been amazing. We're back on the grind. Training's in full session. And like you said, fellas, the playoff hockey has been unbelievable. I just can't get enough. It's been awesome.
Yeah, family, boys. Last recording from my little dorm room at West Virginia University, Borman Hall South, room 253. It's been my home for the past 3 years. It's a little mixed emotions, but I'm excited for this next transitional phase, this next chapter, this next page. And I'm so happy to be doing it with my boys over here. There's so many good things going on. The playoffs are keeping us all entertained, as everyone can see. It's been amazing, and we're going to rip around about it. But just finishing up school, boys. Have my last test due on Friday, and then just a fun week of, entrepreneurship stuff here before real life starts.
Bakes, don't glaze over the fact that you mucked the turkey right there in your front.
Yeah, that's right. Forgot about that. I did get a turkey I tagged out the other day, and I'm going to cook that up this weekend. It's going to be a great meal.
Just don't deep fry it. It could explode, and it could be a bigger
off
situation.
The bone.
As good as it gets.
Boys, AZ, I'm enjoying, there's a little bit of a window where it's not melting season yet, so I'm just relishing in it, taking it in. I know I told you guys, but headed to the movies, the good old movies. Saw Michael, okay? Against the wishes of Rotten Tomatoes, the most overrated rating system in the world that gave it a horrible score, but I didn't care. I love Michael Jackson. I've loved him since I was a kid. I had the jacket, Thriller, the whole deal.
Did you wear it to the theater?
No. Dude, I don't have that thing anymore. My parents dusted it when we left Canada, but God, it looks so good. They had like a replica on there. I was like, oof. Michael Jackson, for the younger chaps that are listening, he was a pop icon. Okay, all I'm going to say is it's really good to see the path that he blazed in music as a whole. What an icon! And it's crazy because he did it the right way. He just was a great person with making great music. His story, well publicized. It sucks. The father ran the family and he was kind of robbed of his childhood. So those who are not familiar with Michael Jackson definitely would recommend seeing it. It's a great story. They kind of cap it at a part, which I'm happy they did because, again, well publicized. Michael Jackson's life moderately fell off the rails. Jacko, his whole bleaching, the whole thing, babies over the rails. Don't be swayed. Go see the movie. Rotten Tomatoes. Go suck it. Anybody who's going on movies because of Rotten Tomatoes, come on. Movies are different. Movies are just made and good because they kind of strike you in a way that's nostalgic. I mean, Michael Jackson was one of those figures, especially when I was young. Yeah, it was good. And the movies, boys, like I really wish that there was better movies being released in the theaters. Now in the streaming, there's no more good movies. Like it's such an experience. And especially we got the one here where like you lay out, they got the menu, you can get drinks, food, you're kicking back, like the full lounge chair. I mean, like let's bring back the movies. I know the streaming, the comfort of your own home, but there's something good and wholesome about heading to the movies with the fam. It's that time, especially, we talked about it. It's like, that's our time with the family, and those memories as we were kids, those were kind of the outings that we did like as a family. So I wish that there was better movies coming out, gave people a reason to head to the movies, but I get it. I mean, we're just in a changed world. Because I know, Logan, you were talking about, you went to a drive-in not too long ago, right?
Boys, I relish at the drive-in. And the same thing, Frankie, like our family outings would just be at the drive-in. We just go catch movies and go run around with all the young kids, like when we were young kids, and just have a good time. And then all the parents would meet up there and basically tailgate while the movie was on. And it's a blast. It doesn't happen much anymore.
Bring back the movies. Other than that, playoff hockey, full swing. Essentially, what I love about this year's playoffs, guys, is it's just a dogfight on all levels. Outside of, obviously, as we know, at the point of this recording, Colorado Avalanche swept the Kings. The Kings are out. Sad to see our boy Kopi. Last game as a King. The ultimate professional. A guy like him did it the right way, played for the Kings his whole career, and did it exactly the way that Dustin Brown did it, where they said, how many years do I have on my career? They basically, that last contract, played until the last game. I mean, rode off into the sunset. Kobe's made a lot of buckets in his life, just a well-recognized, respected figure in LA. I could see him being part of that new leadership group that's kind of blending in there, which is, he's just such a good guy. And, you know, you kind of glaze over the accolades. When you really look at it, first ballot Hall of Famer, bar none. Like, what do you guys think on Kobe?
One of the best 200-foot players ever. Played both ends of the ice like nobody else. Was an amazing center and a great guy. Like, everything you ever see about Kobe, just so cool. First ballot Hall of Famer, in my opinion. And congrats. I know we said it earlier, but congrats on an amazing career, Kobe. Legendary.
You know, multi Stanley Cup champion. He's really done it all. And it's kind of rare to see players. I mean, there's a few still out there, but that play their entire pro careers for one organization. So the loyalty, being a leader, all around great career by Kobe. Congrats, man. And can't wait to see you in the Hall of Fame.
And I talked about this, right, guys? Like, coming from California, like living there prior to living here. The net effect of the Kings being successful in those years, it was awesome to see because of the energy it brought to the city. But again, growth of the game, right? That really paved the way for a lot of the success of hockey programs in California, awareness. Gretz was the first kind of push of that. The success of the Kings, man, like that was really, it really helped them build a new arena. It really helped them keep that franchise relevant for a good amount of years. And who better to do it with than that core group of guys, right? Like Dustin Brown, Anze Kopitar, Jonathan Quick, Jeff Carter, you know, Doughty's still kicking, still kicking them. It's sad, but it's also, I just respect guys that do that the right way. And in this ever-changing game, especially with the time of hockey, it's nice to see that there's guys that still have loyalties, especially it's not so much financial. I mean, he has a great family, and I think a lot of it was just like, hey, I want to spend more time with my family and just enjoy the fruits of my labor. And I respect that. But boys, every other series here, right?
It's crazy.
Like, it's gridlock. It's absolute gridlock. I love it. The young teams, the Sabres, God, we talk about it. The city of Buffalo. Have you been to Buffalo?
It's a desolate wasteland. I'm sorry. I like all respect to Buffalo, but my goodness, they needed it.
They might be the drunkest fan base in hockey right now. Sabres in 5. They actually play tonight as we're recording this, and it's going to be great.
And what you were saying, Frankie, about the young boys, like I said it on the first recording, but like, dude, all of these young teams are putting up dog fights. It's like the changing of the tides. These teams who've been here around in the playoffs forever and always been a winning franchise. You know, you have Utah putting in, running people for their money. You got Carolina, who's still a relatively younger into the playoffs organization. And you got Philly. Guys, I know you guys are going to tell me that Pittsburgh is going to take this back, but I don't think they got that dog in them. Flyers in 6.
I just feel like the Penguins and Philly series, Philly jumped out and it showed, okay, the youth is a thing. Like, this can actually happen. Jumping on the older dogs with expertise, you know, in this playoff race. But again, it's the turtle in the hair, man. It's one of those things. Kraz, Gino, like those guys are just waiting in the wings to just, you give them a chance. And I do, like we were talking about on the pre, the longer this series goes on, I think it plays into Pittsburgh's favor because of the fact that you can never undermine the mind and the expertise of these guys that have been there before, of champions. And a young Philly team, a lot of those haven't been in situations like this. You know, the Zegras. I mean, it's great to see Zegras, change of scenery, looking great. Porter Martone, right out of college, zipping around. They got a good team, but I don't know, boys. I think that the longer this, Bakes thinks the same thing. I think the longer this series goes,
all right, they can force a game 7.
Bake, don't backtrack on me right now,
boys. If they can force a game 7, Pittsburgh at home, as long as they don't wear those yellow jerseys, they got the best shot that they have. And again, teams that have gone down 3-0 in the Stanley Cup playoffs are 141. I think I saw. So they could be the first to make history, and that would be an all-time choke.
Stop it. Stop.
I just like to see. I really love to see Montreal doing well. I've always loved Marty St. Louis. He had a great career. Again, undersized guy who just proved everybody wrong the whole way. Now, a couple rocky years in Montreal. I think a lot of it was him instituting a culture there, really getting the right guys in place. But I like the DNA of that team, not going with this huge lineup and what the NHL quote unquote says is the lineup you need to run with. He's running with some undersized guys that, don't get me wrong, highly talented, but Lane Hudson, undersized defenseman, Cole Caulfield, we know what he did this year, over 50. So I just love to see a team like that. And you could tell those guys are playing for that city, for him. And I just love to see how far they're going to go here. They're taking on a heavyweight.
Shout out Tampa. I like Tampa. That's one of those guys they're just such a winning franchise. I think kind of to your point with Pittsburgh and Philly, I don't think Pittsburgh's won enough in these high pressure moments in recent years, but I think Tampa is one of those teams that has gone through the dogfight, has been through it all, and can still pull this out. But Montreal's hot. They're young, they are limber, and they are putting it on them right now. And it's a great series. And I'd say that's probably the biggest bloodbath out of all of them. I thought Philly and Pittsburgh was going to be.
Boys, I can't glaze over the fact the Hurricanes in the East, they're moving on. And I have an announcement. Our boy, collab we did with Brandon Bussey, House Money collab. Obviously, I talked about it, how proud I am doing it with my brand buddy Hockey. But new development, we are actually going to have 360 units of the hat in the arena. Carolina Hurricanes coming to a theater near you. All the Caniacs out there. I know that's a wolf, but super excited. Like I said, Brandon's amazing. Being able to be part of this with him, autism awareness, being able to partner with amazing organizations for a great cause. And everybody out there, I wanted to say this. Thank you so much for seeing the value in it and purchasing one and being so excited. And the messages that we've received across the board, I cannot tell you how much that means and how thankful I am, because this was something that meant a lot to him. And being able to have something that is just an expression of the community, and a community that he's very well embedded in. His brother is part of the autism community. So just being able to do something on that level, proceeds are also going to the autism organizations. So super excited for that. Carolina Hurricanes, I'm riding because great people. This team is due also. I'm not saying it just because of our boy Brandon Bussey, but
buttering bread a little bit.
Buttering some bread. But boys, the Caniacs, they're due. They've been due for these past couple years. I agree. You have to admit that.
No, Frankie, that's so awesome. It's so cool. And I think it's enough said. I think Carolina has got that dog in them. But the last one that I wanted to shed light on, I know this is running a little long for the catch up for us, LRL family, but Utah, Vegas, craziest marketing play ever. For people that don't know, Utah, closest team to them was Vegas. So Utah Mammoth puts a truck outside and says, hey, bring your Vegas jersey in for a Utah jersey. And there were tons. There were so many. And just a great marketing play, and so good to see for Utah.
The biggest takeaway I've seen from this first round is, a goalie can make or break a series. As we're talking about this right now, Anaheim has the powerhouse Edmonton Oilers on the ropes, a team that's gone to the finals twice, and they're in trouble. So we'll see tonight as we're recording this, like I said, if they can keep it alive. But just like you guys said, the new wave of teams, it's just awesome to see. And the second round matchups they're going to shape up, but they're going to be amazing as well.
And one more thing as we get off the playoffs at this very moment, fatigue. It's a real thing. You talk about teams like Florida, you talk about teams like Edmonton. We were discussing it. Going that far in the playoffs, especially adding in miscellaneous events such as the guys that went to the Olympics, different, side events that when you should be using that time, at least for that little window of rest, these guys were playing hockey essentially 3 years straight, going the full boat, and then adding in additional 2.5 months of probably the hardest hockey that you could ever play. So there's a lot of signs of fatigue. Is it physical fatigue? Yeah, but let's be honest. I think there's some mental fatigue in there as well. Whether Florida, they're upset that they're not playing right now. I know they are, especially after they had a couple of weeks to kind of rest a little bit. But I can tell you, when that season ended, there's a little bit of them that's like, oof, I kind of need this. I kind of need a little bit of a reset, because you got to restart your program, your summer program over, and you're right back in the grind. So I love it. I love teams that haven't been, really been able to have a lot of success lately, but they're being able to kind of show out right now. And I love it. It's good for the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellas, there's been some recent developments earlier this month. One of the biggest brands in hockey, I would say prior, a couple years back to when they were purchased by CCM, Reebok Hockey making their return to the sport with a company called Wholesale Sports Inc. They've done some stuff for Alkali, for Tron, and they've brought some different brands into hockey. But I wonder what happened with CCM. That was the big thing that I had the question of. It was like, it was a buyout? Is it CCM still pulling the strings behind the scenes and adding just another layer of brand? So that was the thing that caught me off guard. But boys, such a storied company in this game. I mean, they were the jersey sponsor in the NHL. I mean, Bakes' first pair of skates were the Reebok pumps, and they were so immersed inside of the game and got one of the greatest athletes of our generation to stand by their gear, as in Sidney Crosby. So I'm eager to hear your thoughts, guys. It's a great thing for it to come back, and I'm excited to see what they do with all these new designs, new technology. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, straight up back from the dead. They're going to be fighting with those powerhouses, Bauer, CCM, but it's always good to see, not just the return of Reebok, but just another new face in hockey. And you know how hockey players are, fellas. They're very superstitious about their equipment, and all it takes is one guy in the big leagues to take on Reebok, and there you go, and it's up and running. But maybe Crosby circles back. That'd be super cool. But Frankie, I know there's a little bit of stuff there about the logo. Maybe they could get that straightened out. But just great to see him back.
Boys, how much I love the newness. I love a new player on the block trying to make an impact. I'd love to see them hit the ground running with some really great young ambassadors, some really great young talent, like some marquee athletes. I mean, I could see, like we said, I think Sidney Crosby could circle back with Reebok. The guy's been wearing his damn jockstrap since he was 12 years old. So, he's a loyal guy. The logo's dust. So, Reebok, please fix that because that thing was whack. But I mean, it's for the time. Like, let's give him a little bit of slack for that time. It was cool. But I will say, I just love it. I love, is CCM still pulling the strings? Probably. It's all about leverage these days. You can still own a little piece of something else and say, you know what? Maybe we need a new voice. Maybe we need some new marketing. Maybe we need something that just gives a splash. But I love it. I love the newness. Anything in hockey that's new, I'm open arms because this amazing game that we love needs it. So Reebok, welcome back. Just change your logo. Just change the logo.
Fellas, there has been a proposed gambling legislation that would put a fee on all sports wagers in the state of Ohio, and they estimate that it would generate an extra $200 million in revenue just off of a 2% increase, where this fee would only be taken from the sports book directly, not from the sports bettors themselves, which they're, obviously not too happy about, but the money is going to be put towards sports stadiums, sports facilities, and, some K through 12 education. So just giving back to the younger generation, I think it's great.
Frankie, as you said before, sports betting's here to stay. It's not going anywhere, and I can talk for the state of Ohio. Decent play, actually, by the legislation. Of course, some companies aren't going to be too happy about, the extra money that's getting taken out. But what I was saying before, it's that, it's reinvesting back into kind of the flywheel effect of being able to reinvest back into the youth, back into these sports, and keep growing these sports that are the platform. Like, it is the platform that all of these are based off of, maybe besides Kalshi. But like all of these sports books, it just gets such a bad rap for it. But I really think it could be good. And of course, the government wants their money back. They want a little more money back, and that's business. And that's the part that is also put into that. But I think it would be good for the state of Ohio not really having any sports or any areas in between the three major cities. So I'm excited. I use code THPN for DraftKings. If you're going to place any bets in Ohio, put it back in there.
Place bets responsibly.
Yes,
you guys
please.
know how it works.
And be of age.
Be of age. Don't be slurting around. I think I love it. I love it because there's only a certain amount of time where you can get away without paying taxes on these gambling wins. So Uncle Sam's got to stick his hands right in your pockets. Those little mitts get what they owe. You better not be, just skirting around the IRS. But no, in all honesty, yes, I think it's great giving back. It's crazy because betting is going to be fueling economies if you think about it. What are really strong economic sources in society? And gambling is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's literally going to be forming the economy. It's only right that, yes, taxation is going to come down like anything. Regulations are going to come down like anything. But we say it all the time. moderation, right, guys? Like, do things responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that you do, it doesn't matter. Eating,
Yep.
training, like everything to the max and no moderation, you're going to find yourself in a bad place. So again, same thing with betting, same thing with sports betting. It's not going anywhere. Sports, I think it's more accepted. And I think it's one of those things where if we just keep the balance of it, everyone's happy, everyone's getting theirs. I think it's going to work out for the future. And I think it's going to continuously be here forever. But not only that, you look at something we talked about, Kelce. I mean, you're going to be betting on if that's going to fall down the street on chin over shin right there on the curb. Like
They have Rotten Tomatoes now. I just saw, so
Like I
Rotten
said,
Tomatoes.
Frankie losing a quick 50 ball on the Michael over under.
Rotten Tomatoes, just don't even talk about it. I don't even want to talk about them. Taking a page out of the NFL playbook right now on the LRL podcast, talking about new Raiders coach Clint Kubiak. He did a really cool thing this year. He's a new coach getting in their training camp. So he made the players blank helmets, making them earn the shield on the sides of their helmets. So again, teaching the guys about accountability, building a culture, getting them to fight for each other every single day and earn it. And I love it. You know, especially in football, the game of many egos. But I just think for sports, it's a really, if you think about it, it's a really cool show of leadership because everybody's starts from zero. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're making, 100 sheets or if you're making, league minimum. Everybody's there grinding it out, trying to make their name on the team, get a spot on the team. And I just love it. And it makes people just be able to earn what they have, but also appreciate it. What do you guys think?
I think it's great that they're shaking something up because, as we know, and everyone that watches football, they've been pretty bad for quite some time now. And new coach, and they just got the first overall pick. I think it's just really great for this franchise as a whole, and Raider Nation is so diehard. They need a good season, and I think what this coach is doing, establishing a new culture with all these players, I hope it leads to success this season, and it's great to see.
Yeah, I mean, in some of the best organizations in the world, like military, you are working your bag off. You don't have any badges. You don't have anything. You start at the bottom, and then you have to kind of earn your stripes. It's going to be cool to see, who kind of gets those shields first and then becomes the captains and becomes those people who are leading the squad. So it's really, really cool just to start from a clean slate. But they also took a page out of the Ohio State Buckeyes book. They've been doing that for quite some time, and just removing the black stripe during training camp when a new kid comes in. But it's just so cool. And I think for all sports, it's just something to take notes. Like, we're obviously biased with hockey players, and we're a brotherhood, but I would really like to see something like that for maybe some of these teams who are struggling, to see something, kind of start from the ground floor and earning it. So it's awesome. And coach, great play, especially with Fernando coming in there.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it in sports being done more. I think it's a really great bonding experience as well. Everybody's just showing that, hey, we're willing to work for it together. And whoever rises to the top, cream rises to the top, then it's earned. And everybody in that room knows that leadership group that's chosen is because of the hard work they put in together. So I love it. Keep it rolling, Raiders.
Raider Nation.
I hope you get some success. LRL family, we have a really special interview this week. We had Jane and Guy Gaudreau. Obviously, we know, the hockey community knows, they are the parents of Matthew and Johnny Gaudreau. It was just amazing to have hockey parents that raised amazing sons talk about their sons. They've created the Gaudreau Foundation, which is the life and memory of Matthew and Johnny. But this was a tough one for us, especially coming from hockey families, being the products of amazing hockey parents, the sacrifice. And when we were talking about doing this interview, the one thing we wanted is to offer support, but also just hear the amazing stories and the amazing memories of their sons that made impact in this world of hockey, but not only in hockey, but in life. And I was honored to have a piece of their time and being able to just be able to be candid and transparent with us and share. The biggest challenge is being able to share deep things. And for me, it was tough. And I know you guys felt the same way, but I love them. And we were so honored to have them on.
Thank you doesn't do it justice. Seriously. I mean, just such an honor to be able to talk to them and to hear the stories about their boys. As you can tell, I when you guys listen to it, I get a little choked up in the beginning, but It's just a very, I just think about, all the hockey parents out there, like Frank said, and they're just hockey parents with kids with a dream. And it was just amazing to hear them talk about those stories, but also to talk about the Gaudreau Family Foundation and the amazing things that they're doing there. And I'm excited to see it develop, especially to, keep remembering the lives of Matthew and Johnny. Just such a pleasure. And thank you, Guy. Thank you, Jane, so much.
Jane and Guy, it was so nice to meet you guys and just everything that you shed light on, not just in the hockey community, but as a whole. And for those listening, the Gaudreau Family 5K is May 16th. Can do it virtually. We'll plug the info down below. And we're also going to be doing it too, and we're going to be documenting it. So stay tuned for that. But again, just so amazing getting to hear the story and what they're doing. We can't thank you enough.
Jane and Guy Gaudreau, the Gaudreau Family Foundation. Enjoy. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official betting partner of the NHL, has a new customer offer.
Bet player props, bet live. From the opening faceoff to the final horn, every moment matters. New DraftKings customers bet just $5 and you'll get $100 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN so you're ready for the moment. That's code THPN. Turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have Jane and Guy Gaudreau on today's show. They're the amazing parents of Johnny and Maddie Gaudreau. And as the hockey community knows, they created the Gaudreau Foundation, honoring Johnny and Maddie's life and legacy. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
First, and starting off with everything is just the foundation. We'd love for you guys to kind of elaborate on the exciting things that you guys are doing with it. And I know it's grown so much even the past, year. So maybe sharing some exciting things and the growth on that level.
Well, at first, when it started, as anyone knows, anyone who's part of hockey is such a close-knit community. There's so many wonderful people in hockey that stay your friends for the rest of your lives. The people that we're friends with now were actually the people that we first met when John and Maddie started playing, and they've remained our friends for, almost 30 years now. And when everything happened with the accident afterwards, they were trying to think of a way that they could honor John and Maddie and help Guy and I and Kristen and Katie, but also make sure that they were helping themselves with the grief and just trying to think of ways that would be the best for them. And our one friend came up with an idea of having a 5K where we could have a 5K, people could come out, we could meet different people that were important to John or Maddie or even some of our family and friends. And they decided to do that. And we would have all the proceeds go to, my oldest daughter and I work at a special needs school, and the boys were heavily involved in that school. They volunteered there. I have a special needs brother who started school there. My mom worked there. So it's really a family oriented place for us. They wanted to build a playground for special needs, an adoptive playground, and they decided they were going to have a 5K. And they said, what do you think? And Guy and I and Chris and Katie were in no way ready to do anything like that. I mean, we could barely get out of bed and take a shower, but it was just, you could see on their faces, they were so excited. And they said, we'll do everything for you. We'll do everything. And when you feel like you're ready and you want to come, you can do that. So Guy and I thought about it, and we thought, well, that might be nice because maybe there'll be like a couple hundred people there. And, we could just go see the people because, there were so many people that came to the viewing and funeral that we don't even remember were there. We didn't, you're just kind of like going through the motions. And I said, this would be nice. It would be like a better, situation, a much friendlier and happier situation, of course. And we could just see some of these people. And we had no idea that it would just explode like that. It was, I think that day at the park, how many people were there? Did they say like close to 2,000?
No, there was more than that. They said between 25 and 3,000, 2,500 and 3,000 people. We sold out the walk. We sold out the race. We did virtual, 1,000 people virtual. So, and then we hit everybody from every state in the United States was somebody there doing a virtual or came to the actual race. Every province in Canada, different countries. There was a lot of participation all over the world, from all over the world, which, kind of makes you feel good. Just your sons were that well recognized and that well honored. Doesn't fix things, but it does help a little bit.
Of course. And I know we talked about it, but the Gaudreau Award in the USHL, is there any other? I'm from Columbus. Johnny is favorite player. And, Maddie, I work with Westchester for my company. I know Maddie was there too. So it is so, sorry, I get a little choked up thinking about it. And I mean, moving into the things that you're doing now, is there any fun initiatives that you guys have planned, like the walk, like the awards, anything that you're doing or planning for the next coming year?
Well, they started the USHL, that award that was set up by the USHL. Big influencer was Glenn, who kind of knew the boys. He's from our area, so he played against them, or his son played against them. They also have in New Jersey the 4 MVPs for the different organizations or different.
The high school league has 4 divisions. And every division picks one MVP, and it's a good Matthew and John Gaudreau MVP that present the award at one of the. They honor the boys at the Devils game, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, so
they feed them. You get to meet the boys, and then obviously we know some of the boys like Jack Hughes and some of them we know that play there, so we get to see them too. So
that was fun. We did all that. And then last year when we did do the 5K, we were doing it for the school, which the school is a nonprofit. So they already had their own 501c. And we thought, that was going to be like a one and done, that would be great. We raised money for the for the playground. The kids loved it. And we kind of thought that would be it. And then so many other people came to us and said, you're going to do the 5K next year, right? We're like, wow, I hadn't really thought of it. I think the committee had, but Guy and I, we were just kind of like, well, we're really not sure. And they were like, you have to do this. And then Guy, from, being a hockey coach forever, he has so many contacts with the NHL and they started coming to, and said, we want to work with you. So there's just so many things that we still have on the horizon so we can help other people play hockey and grow the game of hockey, which is so important to our family because hockey was a big part of our family, even our girls who were heavily involved in dance. But, hockey was just a family event where you went away for the weekend and you just got to bond. And our girls had friends that were siblings of the other players. So we kind of wanted to wrap it around like hockey and what we could do for hockey and people that we could help. That's when we decided the 5K committee decided to have another 5K and just move on from there.
Yes. So we designed a Gaudreau Family Foundation. All monies will be used to like grassroots hockey, learn to skate, learn to play. We're involved with the Atlantic District and there's different types of special needs like blind and sled hockey. And we put together, we're going to donate a lot of money to them to help special needs hockey players and grow the game of hockey in our area.
It's mostly hockey, but also last year we didn't need a foundation because we had my school. But we realized that there were a lot of limitations that we could do not being a foundation. So we spoke with like different lawyers and people. We were afraid because the 2 wives, John and Maddie's wives, also have a foundation, and we definitely didn't want it to compete with them or do anything. And we talked to multiple people that said, there's so much good to be done out there. There's enough to go around. You could have 5 different foundations and still not cover everyone. So that's when we kind of were leaning. They said, if you want to do anything else and you want to help, you're going to have to join and you're going to have to make your own foundation, which is, what we did. We decided to have the Gaudreau Family Foundation, and we were trying to figure out the best way. And we talked to our daughters and they wanted to do something that didn't affect or be with like the John and Maddie's older part of their life, like go maybe their younger part of their life. So we thought what was important to John and Maddie as children and Katie and Kristen. And we came up with hockey and dance because our girls were heavily involved in dance. The boys loved children. Even when they were, teenagers, they were always gravitated to our friends who had kids. Or when Kristen, our oldest daughter, she had Cameron and the boys, they couldn't wait to come in from hockey. So that was important to them. And animals, they loved animals. Like they both had golden doodles. They are both like heavily involved in that. And then last year we went out to Calgary. And Calgary had an award for this organization. They have Parachutes for Pets, and they did an award for John. So we try to wrap our foundation around what was important to the boys growing up. and different things like that, and Kristen and Katie, and just go back to like our roots with the family. And of course, hockey has been part of our lives for my whole married life since I met Guy, and then of course all of our children, their whole lives.
Yeah, if your last name's Gaudreau, you're playing hockey.
A big part of our platform, we have a lot of players, a lot of parents on as well, and hockey is the community that kind of unites us. And I know you've probably been asked this question a lot of times, but it's hard to pin, these answers down. But through the course of time, there's always just those moments, hockey and life and everything with the boys. Like, what are some memorable just moments that are just the small things that binded between, you and the boys that you always remember?
Well, there's a lot of them, but probably the one I will remember, but it was told to me, like John and Matt. Obviously, if you guys played hockey in the summertime, springtime, everybody does tournament teams, right? You go here, you go there. And I'm running a rink and I've got other things going on. So I don't have time to take him all these tournaments. So a friend of ours said, oh, there's a big tournament, the Charter Cup in Boston, and the boys need to do it. One was probably Matt was 14 and John was 15. Anyways, they get done the game, they go and take showers. And obviously, John's underwear was soaking wet from playing, right? So, and he didn't have an extra pair. So he steals Maddie's, puts them on, takes off, and then Maddie gets done taking a shower, comes out, and there's John's underwear soaking wet, and that's all he had to wear. So I guess he came up in the lobby, and they had it out in the lobby, but they were going at it for a pair of underwear.
Yeah, like yelling back and forth. There was a bunch of people there. Was it the marble rink? It was a big rink.
At the super rink in Marlboro, it probably was.
They were serious about it. Matthew was mad. He wanted his underwear back.
And he just
yelled.
And what makes hockey so wonderful is that because he was running a hockey rink, and then I had to do something with one of the girls, the boys wanted to do that. And that's another thing, like the hockey community just comes together. Like if there would be times that Guy and I would take other kids to hockey tournaments and do different things like this. And hockey is just so, just comes together, and it's so close, and you have so many wonderful memories. But luckily, when we took anyone, we never had an episode like that. But our good friend said, it was just hilarious. Like Maddie was so mad, and John was just yelling at him and trying, and they were just like back and forth, like arguing. And Maddie saying, you need to go in there and take off those underwear. They're my underwear, And our friend Jim said that there were such people just laughing, like, and nobody knew who they were. They were just like regular hockey kids. But that's just like type of things, don't even know if they knew they were brothers, but I guess it makes it even funnier that they were brothers. But different stories like that, the stories where you go away for a weekend or even a week. And with us, because Guy running the hockey rink and myself, our vacation time was limited. So our vacation time were hockey. So it was like going up to Canada. It was like the Wonderland tournament or the Ronald McDonald tournament. So you went with all the families, and everybody made it a vacation where, all of our friends were going. Like my oldest daughter was like, everyone else goes to Disney World and we go to Canada, like how come we don't go anywhere that's like warm and fun? But it was just kind of funny. But, you just bond and you just come together. And even throughout all this, people that we never even met, there have been so many people that have reached out to us and told us such wonderful stories about the boys that we might not have ever heard, because just things that they did for other players or people in the community. And people have written us letters. They've reached out to us through social media. We've had so many people that have even come in to do the 5K last year, people from Calgary and Columbus. And, and they told us stories, and it's stories that Guy and I would have never known, because the boys never came home and said, oh, guess what I did good today? Or guess what I did nice today? Or who I helped. And we would have never known all these. And the hockey community is so wonderful, where they come back and they tell us, and they've just been there for us. It's a wonderful community. And our boys played all sports. They played baseball, they played basketball, they played soccer, and all the sports are great. It's just, there's just a little bit, I don't know if it's because hockey seems to be so much more expensive. So, you really got to be committed, or if it's just like you just go away and you spend weekends with these people. And the hockey world, the older your children get, the smaller the hockey world gets. And then you start seeing all these people. Like when Guy and I went to the Olympics, it was great because almost everyone on the ice that was playing for both teams, Canada and the US, we knew most of those people because they were at all-star games or they were at the NHL awards, and we knew their parents. And it was just, with the exception of the new people, the new players that came in, it was just like, almost like a family reunion. We would go into the family lounge and everybody, we would talk about whose child graduated, who was getting married, who was having a baby. It's just so nice because the hockey community is just so incredibly close. And that's just helped Guy and I and Kristen and Katie so much with, going through everything we've gone through, because there's just so many people. I mean, and again, there's lots of people out there that reach out to us that aren't hockey. Those hockey parents, they're just they're the ones that keep coming back to you and making sure that you're okay any way that they can help you. And that's a testament to how wonderful the sport is. And that's why we wanted to help hockey grow. We want to do whatever we can for anyone that might not be able to afford to play hockey, and see what we can do with the foundation and help those people. Like he had said earlier, sled hockey, blind hockey, there's the warrior hockey. There's just so many different ways that you can help. And we thought, what better way to honor John and Maddie than to try to help other people and have the boys be proud of us. So that's kind of if that answers your question.
For sure. And, that's a huge goal of, like we said, of what we do every day with this podcast, is we want to be able to give back to the community that's given us so much. It's such a tight knit community of just literally family, no matter who you are. And, more for the foundation outlook, in 5 years, where do you guys see the Gaudreau Family Foundation?
Well, we can't look that far ahead. We're just starting to get back on our feet a little bit. So take a year at a time, go through this 5K. So far, it looks like it's going to be really successful, probably bigger than last year's. We just want people to remember how great and kind John and Matthew were. And they're good young men. And we were always so proud of them. And people have shown us just by coming from all over the world or to this 5K or texting us so it's been nice to know that they were well loved and respected in the community of hockey, or the community period. We haven't really thought about 5 years down the road, really, to be honest with you.
We thought we would get through this one, and then we want to start with like a 3-year strategic plan and go from there. And just, of course, we would like the 5K to grow, but the place we picked the 5K, or actually the hockey people picked the 5K, was a park that's right near where the boys grew up playing hockey. So that was important to us. But what we've realized is that it only holds so many people. So, and the 5K is sold out. We have so many people reaching out. So I think, in the future, we might have to think about how we can broaden that. And of course, just try to help each year, help more and more people, and see what we can do, and go out to different places and meet people.
The problem with the 5K we have right now is the 5K is a loop. So the fast runners would come back around to the loop into the slower runners, which if a lot of the guys are trying to make time, so the slow runners like me are in their way. So we need to find a course where you leave and you don't come back through that same area, but you finish somewhere else, so that we can put, I'm sure we could do well over 1,500, 2,000 people that would run because people are calling all the time. And so we can't fit any more people on there. It's just not safe. And we don't want to put something out there where all they care is about having people there. We want people have a good experience. We want to bring their family, their kids. We have a cornhole tournament. We have a diaper dash. We have kids that run. So it's a family thing. We got the blow up slide. We have a bouncy ball. We got all kinds of different activities.
Bouncy house.
Yeah,
like a bouncy house. Yeah.
Face painting. We have food vendors there. So it's like a really.
And we have all the mascots.
That's awesome.
Like
Gritty and
Tang. That's
I love Gritty.
Philadelphia Union. That's soccer. We have the boys where they attended high school, Gloucester Catholic. It's a Ram. We have the Ram.
Yeah.
The Philly Fanatic. That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow, you guys are way too young for this, but if you have any nieces or nephew, we have Bluey, Bluey is this.
Yeah.
I do know who Bluey is.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
I
Well,
do
that's
know who
good.
Bluey
Bluey's
is.
coming, so that's a big. But we wanted to incorporate we wanted it to be about the boys, and the boys were all about, family, and family first was always important to them. As parents, we were so lucky because our boys were always, and our girls, everyone, we were such a close family. Like our children are best friends with each other. They have the same friends. And my older daughter is a little bit older than the boys and Katie, and her friends have become the boys' friends, and the boys' friends have become her friends. And we wanted to do something like that just told the story of their life and children were we wanted also pets, but the park doesn't let pets. But that's the only thing we don't have at the 5K is pets. But we wanted it to be a fun day for children and families. And anyone that knows John and Maddie knew how important family was to them. And we just figured we have face painting. We have a lot of food trucks this year too. So,
This seems like a
right up my
blast.
alley. Yeah, I can't wait for that.
We're gonna have to make our way over there, guys.
I thought this year I gotta make sure I have time to hit one of those. So that's exciting.
Guys, we have a lot of players on this podcast all the time, and family is always the central core of all these players. We always ask them, who are the people that you want to thank? What's the biggest inspiration for everybody's journey through hockey? And they always say it's their parents. But you raised two amazing boys, respected, well-mannered. And now I want to kind of turn it to you guys, because you can offer some really great information for hockey parents that listen to this podcast. What is your advice to hockey parents as a whole to really raise their hockey players and their players right?
I don't think we've ever, in the beginning, I don't think we ever thought about raising them as hockey players. We thought of, they'll play hockey because they loved hockey. And if it keeps them busy, because if you're a hockey player and your hockey family, you're busy playing hockey. So you don't have any time to get into trouble because you have to get up early in the morning. So that, I think, was our biggest goal in the beginning when John and Maddie would do really well. I remember we were at one tournament and Guy would never pick MVPs because he thought it was a team sport. So he would never pick an MVP. And we were in Canada and we played, and they would pick an MVP, and I'm not sure who picked them, the coaches from the other team or the referees, but John had got it several times. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. We were on the way home and I said to Guy, wow, he's really good. I wonder if he'll ever make the NHL. And Guy looked at me and he goes, listen, you can't be like one of those crazy parents and think that your son is going to make the NHL. That's not why we're doing it. We're doing it because we want to do things as a family. We can travel as a family, go to hockey tournaments. We can hockey, as anyone knows, you have to have time management. You have to have discipline. So I don't think we ever thought we were going to raise hockey players. We wanted to raise just really good children that became, good adults. And hockey was just a great way to do it because, as I said, hockey, you have to have time management, you have to have discipline. And it was just a great way for us to just raise our family. And because you spend so much time together, hockey tends to be a very tight family union. And when you have a tight family unit, you raise good children. And hockey players, there's so many out there that, the majority of them are just unbelievably nice, great people. I mean, I couldn't think of a better sport to raise your children in, to attribute all of those values that as parents you want for your children.
For me, I coached my two sons and a lot of kids. I put a lot of kids in Division I and Division III and pro. But when I coach, I coach, I'm a pretty hard coach to play for. My values are, you need to work hard, right? There's nothing in life that's easy. You can work hard your entire life and so hard in hockey and not make it, right? But when you go out to the real world, you'll realize how easy the real world is because you spent so much time in the gym, running, eating right, on the ice. And all at once, you got this job. Like, this job's easy because life seems to be easier if you try to work so hard to reach a high level of hockey or soccer, any sport, and just good values. You teach good values if you get them on the ice and teach them how to win and lose and how to deal with their teammates, and everybody's different. So now you got to make these kids learn to be together and love each other like brothers and play for each other, right? So there's a lot of things you learn there. Never mind if you're going to play Division I, Division III, or pro or anything. It's just a fact that you've learned to deal with other people, which you have to in life, right? Like the three of you guys have to get along to make this podcast work, right? You can't say, well, Frankie's an idiot, and whatever. Like, you guys got to get along. You got to pretend to like each other, right? To make it work like a team, right? Like a well machine. Same thing with
100%.
Our kids. We taught them that, right? And the biggest joke I get a big kick out of is, I don't know how many people ask me, well, when did you know John was going to play in the NHL? Was he 10, 12? I said, you know what? When I knew he was going to play in the NHL, we were in Vancouver playing his first game, and I watched him play. I'm like, he can skate with these guys, right? That's when I realized he might be able to play in the NHL, right? I never looked at it because you keep going, you're going to make it, right? I always told him, you got drafted doesn't mean crap, right? All it means they own your rights. You got drafted USHL, all that means they own your rights. They could bring you in, sit you in the stands for the whole season. So it doesn't mean nothing, all that stuff. It just means you have to work harder to be on the ice, right? that's the way we raised both our kids, right? That's like
All four of them, even the girls too.
It's dance and everything, the same thing. Like you want to win first place competition, well, you got to practice. It's not easy.
And you have to make sacrifices. Like all of our children, I don't know how many different like homecoming or proms or different things they missed.
Yes.
And we didn't say for them to miss. We always gave them that the choice, like it's your prom. Do you, like maybe you should go to your prom. And they were like, there's a hockey tournament. I'm going with my team. We never had to persuade them either way. It was we left it, what they thought they wanted to do and what was best. And, when you commit to a team, that's what you are. You're 100% with the team, and you kind of, like he had said, then when you get to be an adult, that has taught you, your whole life, you have responsibilities and you have to act in a certain way, or you'll go sit in the penalty box, not that everyone hasn't sat in the penalty box once or twice, but, you learn from your mistakes. So when you get older, those tough decisions come, whether what you do, A or B. And, I think for children that have been involved in sports, and especially hockey, which is so involved and so disciplined, that that just becomes second nature. So when you become an adult, the decisions, are still there. They're not easy ones, but they might be a little bit easier because you've been making tough decisions your whole life.
So beautiful.
The one thing I could add to any parent is don't fight your kid's battles. If you don't think he's getting enough playing time, tell him to work harder and figure out how he can get more playing time, right? It's easy to go to the coach and complain and try to get him more ice time, but now you're fighting your son's battle, right? Your son wants to play hockey. Let him figure out how he's going to get more ice time, right? Too many parents have to mingle in their kids, oh, wow, the coach is not treating you fairly, right? I'll never forget when John was playing for Dubuque first year. He played 7 games. He was top scorer on the team, but he was a -6. And I kept telling him, like, he'd get, like, last 4 or 5 minutes of the game, they were winning by 1. His butt was nailed at the end of the bench. He wasn't getting on the ice. And he says, well, Montgomery doesn't like me. I go, it's got nothing to do about liking you, son. He don't like your -6, what he don't like. As you make that -6 a +6, I can guarantee you at the end of the game, you'll be on the ice. He just doesn't like me. So he made it a mission to make his -6 a +6. Within like 6 games, he was a +5 or 6. They're playing against Omaha. I'll never forget. And there's a minute left. The defensive zone, they're in their own zone. The goalie's pulled, and John's on the ice. He scores open net. So I couldn't wait to call him. I said, I thought Montgomery didn't like you. I said, but I bet you he likes your +6 now.
He just wanted to call and say, see, I told you I was right.
Yeah. That's what my pops would do. My pops would do the same thing.
You hung up on me. You hung up on me? Are you kidding me? Call him back. He didn't pick up. He wouldn't pick up. I said, I'll get him. But anyways,
it was funny when we talked about that, John and Maddie, when they would play, after every game, when they would play, they would always call. First, they would call Guy, and sometimes, especially in Calgary, there were late nights. And if Guy fell asleep, then I would get to be the second call. And I'd like, he's only calling me because Guy's not answering, And I'd be, hi. And he was like, hi, Mom, how are you? I just called to see how you're doing. I was like, it's 12:30. I'm in bed. I have to go to work in the morning. Oh, is Dad there? And but it was funny because the boys, whenever they had a really good game, they called Dad. They called Dad, hi, Dad. And they would talk.
Absolutely.
Terrible. Yeah. He was not getting a phone call. He would sometimes try to call them, but they knew after a while, like, Guy's not making excuses for his sons. He's going to say, I watched you, what were you thinking? You shouldn't even have been out there. And that was like kind of funny. And then when they got to be a little bit older and more mature, they knew when they had a bad game. Like, John or Maddie would call and I'd hear them say to Guy, I know I didn't play well tonight, but they still called. And yeah,
they were good kids because a lot of sons would just turn their fathers off, right? But they listened to me. The next day they'd get mad at me. The next day we'd talk. So you're right, Dad. I should have done this, should have done that, and I got to do better in getting back in the defensive zone, or I should have got in front of that shot, or just little things that they did that because I'm a hockey coach. That's all I can see. I see all bad things they do. I don't see the good things they do, right? Like so, but they were very. And then when the hockey's over, they're my sons. When we get done the tournament and jump in the car, never talk hockey unless they want to talk hockey, right? I would never say should have done that, should have done that. I'll confront them in the locker room like I would confront any other kid. And then when it's over, right? I want, I love the fact they were good hockey players or decent hockey players, but I didn't want them to think that was their whole life, right? Our family was more important than hockey, right? They played soccer, baseball. I love the fact they were both very competitive young men, which I was the same way. So that made them who they were. You can be a very good hockey player, but if you're not competitive, you quit. Being competitive at the level of competitiveness is really important, and they had that. It was cool.
That's so well said. And for everyone listening out there, how can they find the foundation and show support to you guys?
Well, right now, if they wanted to, the 5K, of course, is sold out. But we have a virtual 5K, which it's nice. Like a lot of businesses or hockey teams or organizations will start like a team and then go onto the Gaudreau Family 5K website and then just add a team, and then they will run at their leisure whenever it's good for them. They could do that. And then, if
individually too.
And individually, so you don't have to,
anybody can just
have lots of
go
people
on
that are doing it
go on
individually.
the Family 5K website, and then it says virtual, check on virtual. It'll say, it's $35, and then you do your 5K run whenever you want, or walk whenever you want, and it posts your time and send pictures or whatever. It's pretty cool.
And it's important for us. Like, we want people to send pictures because we love seeing the pictures from people all over. That's so nice. Yeah. And then as for the Gaudreau Family Foundation, that's the rest of the year. Like the Gaudreau Family 5K is part of the Gaudreau Family Foundation, but the foundation is, like the core part, where that's more like the business part, that you have to have that so you can do the fun things like the Family 5K, or he's going to start like a learn to skate and a learn to play hockey and different things like awesome. That. So it depends what they're interested in. If they're interested, like kind of just running, they can also just donate through the 5K through Run Sign Up, or they could just go right to Gaudreau Family Foundation and donate that way. That way they don't pay any fees if they're just going to make a simple donation, which is nice. I'm not big on fees. So, whenever I try to make a donation somewhere, I try to write that check directly to the organization rather than the people that are behind it, setting up the fees. But whatever's really best for them. We just love the 5K so much because it was just built out of love from hockey parents that just wanted to do something nice for John and Maddie. And that was just so important to us.
Gonna catch us running the 5K. You might see some stuff from us competing against each other. We will.
We will, for sure.
Well, you'd feel bad if I beat you.
You probably will. I haven't been on the ice. I haven't played competitively in a little bit.
I'm so slow. I used to be in pretty good shape, but the last 2 years have really taken a beating on me, guys. So if I can get through the 5K running the whole way, I'd be happy. I did last year a little under 30 minutes, so 29 something. But yeah, it's hard for me to get up in the morning and do it all the time. But anyways, I try.
Guys, we can't thank you enough for joining us as a hockey community. Like I said, just having you guys on and being able to just talk about this amazing community we're all a part of, and more importantly, supporting each other and through good, the bad, and indifferent. And for us, it's just a true honor to have parents like you and great sons, and it's just a blessing. So anything we can do to continuously support you guys, we're here for you, and we can't thank you enough for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, and thanks for supporting the Gaudreau Foundation 5K and the 5K.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you so much for Guy and Jane joining the show. And like we said before the interview, it's just something so personal to us to have amazing hockey parents that created something so amazing through such a tragic loss. But there's so many amazing things that are in the future that keep their life and memory alive of Matthew and Johnny. And we love them. We can't wait to continuously support them. And again, thank you so much for their time.
As Frankie said, we love them. We also love all of you guys. We love the hockey community, and they're doing amazing things for the hockey community. And even Matthew and Johnny, just amazing people all around. And I really hope you guys enjoyed that episode. I know we did. It was definitely a special place in our hearts, and it will be forever. So thank you both again so much.
Thank you. Doesn't do justice. Just the raw emotion throughout this episode. It really hit close to home, and we can't wait to continue to support and follow everything they're doing.
Boys, this would not be allowed, not even permitted, without the amazing support of our sponsors, Buddy Hockey Club, Best Damn Tape, DraftKings Sportsbook, Quench Hydration. A cap on another amazing episode. We laughed. We definitely cried during this one, but I love you guys. I love everyone out there. We love all this amazing support that we continuously receive on all levels, and we'll never stop saying that we appreciate you and we really do value you.
Love you all. You're the best.
Love you guys. We'll see you on the next one.